Okay, here's one of my paper templates that I had made up. This one is for it's 7.5 feet tall, 15 feet wide. So I just had it printed on paper roughly, and then I took packing tape and went around everywhere I have to cut just to kind of reinforce the paper when I cut it. This one, I'm making them two different processes. One's going to be all metal. One's going to kind of be like a bulletin board. It's going to be flat. This is the bulletin board. So this logo out of paper, I need to cut it right around all the edges of everything and lay it on and trace it. So this one's been a little bit different process than the other one, but I got two templates. The other one, we'll see that over at the other shop. Okay, it's day one on the 250th project. I've got some tools. I work in a different building. We're using a warehouse over here to work on, or actually a big shop. It's on campus, but it's on the other side. But anyway, I brought my tools over. I've got the big paper template laid out. This is the 9-foot tall, 18-foot across. They bought me a tubing bender. Here's sort of like a slip roller type to bend the tubing. I got a bunch of steel that came in today. This is 3/4 by 3/4, 14 gauge, 20-foot sections. I've got some rebar for the raised areas, which I'll show you. I've got the flat sheets of steel there. Those are 4 by 10, 18 gauge. They also bought me a metal chop saw to work through this project. So I got that. And what I'm building, I'll show you that I made a wire model first out of metal, actually TIG wire. That's kind of hard to show up on camera. But basically I'm doing the same thing. That template there, I made a paper one here for a smaller one, and I used TIG wire. And I just used that to get the metal built into shape. And then some of these rise up, you can see it's supposed to look like a ribbon. So once those rise up, that'll be 3/8 bar there to turn, but then it gets covered with the 18 gauge steel on there. Then I have to paint it just like it's a car. So anyway, that's the gist of what we're doing. As we go each day, I'll keep filming the process. I'm going to start bending some of these pieces today just to see. Today is just kind of get started day, but I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get some of these bent today in shape with this. We have a parade float that I built a couple years ago that we're using, and the governor wants to ride in it, so I used the machine already to build this little round hoop for him to stand in the middle of, so he doesn't fall off. It'll have a bar. It'll just kind of stand up in the middle, but anyway, it bends really good. That was the first thing I bent with it, and it went pretty smooth, so I was happy with it. So anyway, we got about 3 weeks to turn this into a reality. A lot of moving parts, but I estimate this is going to weigh between 500 and 600 pounds once it's done. So anyway, we're getting started, and this will be the next video that we're working on. No truck video for a few weeks, but anyway, this will be the new project. Okay, it's day 2. I got most of the parts that stay flat bent in the metal there. They're not all quite in place. They're all kind of laying around, but I think I have them all bent to follow the shape. Some of them, like this one comes up, it'll have to be spliced right there. Got a little joint to put in it. But these are all the ones that lay flat. The other, this curve and that curve are going to be out of 3/8 rod, and they arch up. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get all these joints together, cut, where I'm going to either butt them or 45 them, and tack this together. So the next step is to get all these tacked up, and that'll be the base for the next part. So day 2, and we're making progress. Okay, it's day 3. I got most of the structure. It hardly shows up on the camera, but you can kind of see, if you look closely, it's starting to get the arches where the metal goes. Now I'm going and adding some reinforcement bars. One there, one there. That'll be behind this cover that goes there, so you won't see it. Kind of hard to see on the camera. You can kind of see the twist in it. So anyway, it's coming together. I'm going to get it structurally sound today, and we'll start skinning it next week. And that was the wire frame, which we showed you. And this is kind of what it's supposed to look like when it's done. This is a flat version. We may be doing a sticker version like this, a vinyl wrap one, a flat one, if we have time. But that's basically what that on the floor is supposed to look like in 3D. So anyway, we're going to keep working on it and keep making progress, and then hopefully by some point today, I'll have it off the paper and we'll stand it up and flip it over so I can weld the back side. That's the goal for today. So. Okay, we're in the middle of the week and I got all the metal on it, the whole skin's on it, but the edges aren't all perfect. I had help here. I got it all tacked on. So now I'm going through and finishing up the edges. I've got to trim the edges. Everything's not flush. First thing I'm doing is where these transitions meet on these curves. I'm smoothing these out real good. You can see where it hangs over, but I want these nice and soft so the public doesn't get, hung up on them or anything. But you can see, still got to come back and trim that all the way along there. So kind of hard to cut these and get them to fit, make sure they're big enough so they fit, but it went pretty smooth. But like I say, that's what I'm doing. I've got that one. I got this one smoothed out. Again, I don't want people getting caught up in there. People will be touching them. I mean, it's not meant to be touched, but people will. So just make sure it's nice and soft everywhere. Smooth out that. I'm not going to weld this solid. I'm going to probably have a tack weld about every inch around the whole thing. So that's the plan. Up here, I'm going to put a little, you can see I'm starting to fill that. I got to fill that little gap right there, smooth that. I had a gap right there. That's what this piece is in there for. I'm filling that. So anyway, I'm just going around it and getting it secure. Do all that. That's the process. Earlier, I don't know what this weighs. I guess it's between 400 or 500 pounds. I had these legs on it. I saw they're still there, but you can see they have spacers on them there. They were flat. This is 1 inch by 1/8 inch, and it was starting to bend. So I had to go ahead. These are temporary, but I had to put braces in it there on both sides. Lean it back. Get it past the center of gravity, so it's nice and secure now. But like I say, these will be cut off once we get it. There'll be poles in the ground, so it'll be mounted permanently to the ground. But anyway, I had to secure it up because it was starting to rock and I couldn't afford to have it to fall over. But anyway, I'm gonna keep working on it, and hopefully in a day or two I'll start doing the body work on it, because I have to do these seams. They don't show up too much in the camera, but we had to seam this in 3 spots, so I've got to weld that, smooth that. There's a joint there. There's one there. I'll have to weld another one right here, which still has the butt clamps in it. But that'll have to be fully welded. Then I'll have to take Bondo over those 3 spots. And hopefully that's the only places I'll need the Bondo. This is 18 gauge, so it doesn't seem to be warping or anything. So hopefully I'll just fill these spots and a few little touch-ups. But anyway, I'm going to keep working and keep filming, and we'll eventually have this looking like it's red, white, and blue. Okay, it's the end of the week. It's Friday. It's actually a state holiday, but I'm working. I'm going through and trimming everything, getting it buttoned up. It doesn't look much different, but I've worked on it for 2 days. Put a bunch of spot welds across everything. Made all of my corners nice. Trimmed all the edges, and that's what I'm in the process of, is trimming all the excess around the edges and tack welding the whole thing around it. I've added bolts so we can mount. There'll be poles that go through here, so now we have a place to anchor it. Also, just in case we need to lift it, I welded in some hooks there. There's a hook there and a hook over here, just in case we need to lift it. We're probably going to lift it with a kind of a forklift, a sky lift, lift it up, tip it back. But we're getting progress made. Here's what I'm doing now. You can see where it hangs over when we cut it initially. So I'm having to go back over the whole thing and trim all these edges off and re-weld as I go, because we just tacked it on. But anyway, yep, there goes the grinder. But anyway, that's what I'm doing today. Doesn't look much different, but I have made a lot of progress. Hopefully next week, tomorrow, I plan on getting all the welding done, and I've still got to do the weld up the butt joints. So at the end of the day or tomorrow, I want to come up here and get some Bondo on that seam, and that seam. And there's two tiny spots where we had to put clamps on it that left a little ding. There's one there and one over there. Very minor, but anyway, so still going. So hopefully next time you see it, we'll be working on getting the bodywork and the primer on it to get it sealed up. And next week we'll be painting the entire thing. And I'm not looking forward to laying out the stripes, because I'm gonna have to do that in my hand, all the curves, and keep that consistent. So that's gonna be the next step. That's a pain in the ass. So anyway, we'll keep working today. Okay, today I'm going to finish up all the welding, get everything ready so I can start putting the primer on the seams. Today what I'm having to do, I finished welding yesterday. This seam was a little just slightly proud, so I made a shrinking hammer. I just took a hammer. This I kind of already had the grooves in it. So it's a finished hammer, but I cut those little grooves you can see in it. So with a block of wood on the back of it, when it hits that, it kind of shrinks the metal. So I've got that one good. This one is concave, so I don't have to worry about that one, and I can't get to the back of it anyway. This one is really proud here. This one really is almost like a roof. I mean, it's got a peak on it, so I don't know if the hammer's gonna do it. I may have to recut this one, push in on it, and re-weld it. I'll have a friend Dan's coming later. I may wait. I'm gonna hit it with a hammer a few times and see if it shrinks. It may shrink enough with this hammer to get that in. If not, I'll just cut it and re-weld it. But then I've got to go through and grind all of these little welds around the whole thing anyway, so I can keep busy doing that and basically just get it ready. So keep filming this, or keep doing this, and then the next thing we'll film, I'll start having some Bondo on there and we'll start getting it ready for paint. Okay, where this seam was peaked up like a roof, this worked surprisingly well. I was able to actually get it completely out of it, so now I've got it flush or slightly depressed everywhere, and it didn't warp up the surrounding metal. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's pretty good. I don't have to re-weld it or recut it. So anyway, shrinking hammer worked pretty good. So now I just need to go through and grind, touch up any little spots. I may put some more welds along these two front seams where people can walk right up to it. So I want to probably put a little bit more bead in there and then start smoothing it out and get ready for some Bondo. Okay, I think I got all the welding and grinding done. I've got all of the edges around everything smooth, so no one should get cut. Everything's pretty soft edges all around, so pretty good. I ran the grinder over the places where I've got to put Bondo, so those are hammered out pretty good now. So we're on to the next phase. All the fabrication, metalwork, and welding is all done. I'm glad to have that behind me. It took about 2 weeks to get to this point. First was a 5-day week, now it's a 6-day week. So I guess 11 days to get to this point. So anyway, I'm gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna smear some Bondo in there and start that process, and we're getting one step closer. Okay, it came in on Sunday. Yesterday I got all the body filler on it, so I got all the seams pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them. They seem to be okay. So you can see where I did those, and I'm starting to shoot the primer now. So I'll go through, hit everywhere. I got the Bondo with the primer. I've already went across the edge. That looks good. You can see I just kind of filled in all those little crevices where I didn't weld it all the way, but I think it's going to work out fine. Like I say, this is only a temporary thing. I wouldn't do that if it was on a car. That'd eventually crack out, but for this particular project, I think it's going to be fine. So anyway, I'm going to get all the primer on here, and then we'll be done for the day. Okay, we got all the primer on. When it was wet, I could tell it's pretty smooth. I'm happy with the shape of it. It's not too wavy. There's a bunch of pinholes in it. You probably can't see, but maybe. But anyway, I gotta go back and fix the pinholes, but I got 3 coats of primer on all the seams. They look pretty good. I think the transitions will be okay. There's a couple of little things I noticed where I hit with a grinder. Kind of hard to see, but there's some rough spots right there that I'm gonna have to hit. So tomorrow I'll just sand this down, look for any last little spots like that need to be touched up. This is like a 20-footer too. I mean, this is not a show car or anything, so I mean, you have to be 20 feet away from it to take a picture. So I'm probably being a little pickier than I need to be, but anyway, coming out pretty good, I think. So hopefully tomorrow on the back side, I'll get the black sealer, and then hopefully I'll get the gray sealer on the front, and then it'll be ready for the white paint. So, and then after that, the pain in the ass of trying to mark the stripes, which I'm not looking forward to, but we'll get through it. Okay, what you just saw was Dan going over this. We went over the whole thing, and you saw Dan in particular going over the whole thing with 60 grit, all the metal, so we get some bite. But we got all the primer on it. We got 2 heavy coats on it last night, or yesterday evening, I should say. And we got it sanded down this morning. We went over it with a DA with 120 grit just to kind of smooth it out. There was a few little drips that got on it, but overall, it's pretty good. And we are getting prepared to spray the white paint on it. So the next time you see it, it should be all white, and hopefully there'll be no runs on it, and we can start the nightmare of taping off those lines, which I keep talking about because I'm not looking forward to it. So hopefully maybe it'll go smooth. I mean, some of them, like in here, it won't be too bad, but I don't know, that's a lot of curve to keep right, and then to keep that distance between them the same. So it can vary a little bit here. I mean, in perspective, it would shrink a little bit here anyway, so I'll have a little wiggle room. I'm going to dedicate a whole day to trying to get the tape laid down for the stripes, so we'll worry about that tomorrow, but you'll see this next in all white. Okay, I didn't film myself taping off the stripes because it was a pain in the ass. I just got in and done it, and it took a while, but we got it marked off for the first coat of red. The bottom half will be the blue. But anyway, we got it all taped off. It looks good. The stripes aren't perfect, but they're pretty good. I didn't want to mess with them. I got them to a point where they were good enough. Again, from 15, 20 feet away, I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's just, you can't mess with it. Somewhere else. You just have to kind of live with it. So, we're getting prepared to spray the red on. So the next video we'll have red paint on it, and we'll let it set. And then tomorrow we'll pull it off, reverse all the paper, and we'll do the blue. And then Friday will be clear coat day. Okay, we got the red paint on it yesterday. You can see, it came out pretty good. No runs, so I was happy with that. Until the clear coat goes on it, it looks a lot darker than it actually is. It's actually metallic paint, but until you get out in the sun, you really can't tell, because it's a base coat, clear coat, so it dries really flat, but you can kind of see right there, it's starting to pick up a little bit of light. In the light, this will really kind of sparkle a little bit. But it's looking good. So today we got to reverse all this paper. We got to cover up the red, and we'll shoot the blue. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with it. These colors that I picked, this red was probably my 6th or 7th choice. It's hard to find a bright metallic red that's a base coat, clear coat. So all the colors I was picking were dual colors, and so my blue was about my 4th choice, so weren't the perfect colors I wanted, but I think they're going to be good enough. So we'll get started today, we'll get this reversed, and then the next thing you'll see is the blue paint on it. Okay, you can see we got it painted blue yesterday, and we're pulling the paper off, doing the reveal, and it's looking pretty good. see overall, it looks pretty good. I'll get another picture. We have one issue that we're gonna have to work on, or actually two small ones. I'm just gonna touch them up with a brush. Right here, the tape peeled that off, so I'm just gonna kind of mask it around that, and I hit that with a brush and lightly sand it. Paint dries quick. And there's one right there too, so overall, not too bad. We've got some glue residue that we've got to clean, but that'll clean off, so overall, pretty happy with it. I'll get back and get the whole thing in frame. Okay, here's what we're ending up with. Okay, it's install day, and as you can see, it's dark outside. That's because it's 5 a.m. I'm not used to getting up at 5 a.m. So this is a new one for me, but that's when all of our help starts. So let's see what it looks like now. I came in on Sunday and removed the hardware where it bolts on. So I took the nuts and bolts off. I added some bracing. The way we're going to move this is there's a hook point there and a hook point there, and we're just going to lift it straight up and kind of move it like that. So I wanted to make sure all of this was nice and secure. So that's the rest of bracing. Now let's go see what the final product looks like, because I hadn't filmed it yet. So that is what it looks like. Now when the sun comes out in about 2 hours, I think it'll look real nice in the sun. You can kind of see again up there where the lights are starting to hit it. It kind of metallic. It looks pretty good. So anyway, we're going to start installing this morning. Like I say, they told us to be here at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's just a few minutes till 5, so I wasn't the first to arrive, but anyway. So anyway, we'll spend the rest of the morning getting this rigged. We got to slide it on this floor to get it out that door by hand, and then we'll put it on a forklift and start moving it around.
Let you come down. Yeah. Come down a little bit. They can't hear you.
Down a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Pull in that bottom lane.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sitting on the ladder behind it. I don't think you could have balanced it any better.
Off the ground.
There it is off.
Okay, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. We got it installed. We started at about 5 o'clock this morning, and my video ran out of memory, so I had to delete some videos in order to shoot some more, but I got some pictures of us moving it that you probably just saw. Anyway, here it is installed. That's the state capitol behind us. We have the world's largest mobile Ferris wheel behind it. They're still setting it up. It's pretty big. It's supposed to be 243 feet, I believe. But anyway, this is a selfie photo opportunity now. So you'll stand behind it. It's a lot of work. It's about 3 weeks of work. I guess I worked on it 16, 17 days is what it took to get this built. So looks good out in the sun, so I'm happy with it. I'm tired, obviously. The back side of it there. So anyway, I'm glad to have this done behind me. The rest of the week I have to work the event. But anyway, we got it done. Okay, this will wrap up this video. Our event starts on the 2nd this week, and it'll run through the 5th. So if you're in Charleston, West Virginia, through July 2nd through 5th, you can come here, come to the back side of the Capitol, get a photo op here, and ride the Ferris wheel. And we have activities around the entire campus, which goes over there and around the front of the building. We have lots of things going on. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And next week, we'll be back on the truck.
West Virginia is trying to make a big splash all across the globe, and we thought it would be helpful to bring people together, because now that we're so close to the actual commencement of this, we want to make sure that we're letting people know the entire calendar, because we don't want people to miss any of the fun.